We're live.
All right, awesome. Okay, I call this meeting to order at 7:02. Are there any additions or subtractions to the agenda?
Hi, can I please strike ASRF allocations and travel grant mini fund allocations for this week, please? Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Oh, can I strike the SVC programming fund?
Anyone else? Okay, awesome.
Wait, sorry, my voice is gone. Can you can you strike a bag, please?
Okay, striking bag.
Wait, sorry, I didn't strike the Green Initiative Fund for this week.
Yeah, I think Daniela said it's supposed to be TGMF, not TGIF. There we go. All right. Is everything cool?
Hi, can I strike capital contingency?
Yes. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, hi. Can I please strike ARC allocation?
Okay.
I have a change to, I think for the appointments, the people presenting would be Naomi, Hantika, and Kian, if I'm not mistaken.
Keon isn't here today. He's not gonna be able to make this meeting, so someone else is gonna like talk for him. He has someone here. We might have to promote that person as well, right?
Where's Teddy?
Josh, are we supposed to promote the person?
Is it their proxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can promote the proxy. If the proxy could just raise their hand in the attendee list, and we can promote them. They cannot participate in votes.
Okay. Okay, Josh, you broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we can promote them if they could just raise their hand in the chat, and just note that they cannot vote. They can only participate in discussion.
Okay. So I guess out of the attendees, if you is anyone here on behalf of Keon? Could you please raise your hand?
Wait, Keon's not the voting member of Appointments Review Committee anyway, though. So wouldn't that be okay?
No, so for the proxy, just for the meeting.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, it's just for yeah. Whenever any of you don't come to a meeting, you just like send someone in your stead, and like they'll just be here and speak on your behalf. I guess he didn't send anyone because I don't see anyone. They'll probably join later, I guess. All right. So if the agenda is fine, can I get a motion to approve?
I have something to add or some things to
my-
strike as well.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So for the board of directors, I'm going to strike Dakota Efren and then Kyle, because I think we are only decided on two who are going to be here today. So I'll strike those two. And then for the old business, I'm going to strike bylaw change Article 2, Section B4, because we have not gotten that approved by the council or the Constitutional Review Committee yet. And that should be all.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Also, we've seen that, Jenny. She said if you send a proxy, that counts as your attendance for coming to meeting, but please let the FICOM chair know since they record attendance. All right. If we don't have any more changes, can we get a motion to approve?
Move to approve the agenda.
Can we get a second?
I second.
Who was that, Devon?
No, that was Sarah. I wish
Sarah,
I
I'm
was.
sorry. Okay, Eliana motions, Sarah seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, so by a motion of 13-0, the agenda passes and the agenda is approved. All right, so I hope everyone was able to take a look at the minutes from last week's meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, if not, can we get a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, can we get a second? Can we get a second?
I second.
Okay, that was Naomi, correct? All right, so Sarah motions, Naomi seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. By a motion of 13-0, the minutes from last week are approved. Okay, now we're about to open up public comment. If anyone's attending in the attendee list that wants to speak, please raise your hand. We'll promote you. Obviously, just remember, public comment doesn't bar you from, being held accountable for anything you say. So yeah, please raise your hand if you want to be promoted to give public comment. We're opening it up at 7:09. Okay, going once, going twice. No one? All right, okay. Now moving forward to contingency programming. Jenny?
Hi, guys. I am not at Disney today, unfortunately, but it's good seeing you guys. I hope you're having good week 10. Here's the spreadsheet. This week we allocated $10,022, $10,022.40 to 10 non-USAC entities. I cut allocations by 10% this week simply because we are running low on funds and I want to make sure we have a little extra for summer contingency. But yeah, it's a much smaller cut than we have had to do. So I'm very happy about that. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Does anyone have any questions? All right, if not, can we get a motion to approve? It's gonna be a long meeting if we don't get people to motion. Can y'all please motion?
I move
Sorry, go ahead, Danielle.
I move to approve the contingency program and allocations for this week.
Can we get a second?
I second.
Okay. Danny motion, Naomi seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. By a vote of 13-0, contingency programming passes. All right, moving on. We got SFS allocations.
Perfect. So I typed in the chat the link to SFS allocations. This week we have 6 non-CSC organizations that we allocated $6,050 for. And we have one CSC Community Service Commission project that we allocated $198.41, coming to a total of $6,248.41.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Juan. This is a consent item, correct? So does anyone got any questions or disapprove? Okay, awesome. All right, moving forward, we got TGIF, Phoebe.
Go ahead.
Hey y'all. Okay, so we're allocating $1,107.28 to 3 non-USAC entities.
Okay, awesome. And I see you just put that in the chat, right?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, awesome. It approved. Thank you so much, Phoebe. All right, now we're about to get into special presentations. We have someone from we have the USAC office contracts presentation. Reagan, Reagan is supposed to be giving that. Are they already promoted?
I just promoted.
Okay, awesome. You got the floor.
Thank you. And hello, Council. My name is Hannah Regan. I'm the current OSAC chair. It is so nice to meet so many of you. It is so nice to meet so many of you for the first time, and some of you, welcome again. Congratulations. I am getting notifications that my internet is being unstable here and there, so I'm going to try my best to catch it. But feel free to just shout out if I can hear you. I will try my best to pause. But what we are here to do today is to sign your office space contracts, and really to walk you through them. You do not necessarily have to sign them right now. If you could do it at your earliest convenience, that would be very helpful. But you can just click this link, and then this link also has a PDF, which is what I will be reading from. I will drop that link in the chat as well. It's really important to OSAC that while USAC offices are guaranteed office space, that you all are taking care of it and know the resources that you have, just like any other SOL organization. So I'm going to try to make this very quickly. What I'm going to do is, after the big sections, I will hold for questions. You can just shout them out or raise your hand or put them in the chat. I'm not going to screen share just for sake of ease. Unless anyone would really like me to, please shout that out if you would. But I will pretty much be reading everything out loud. So section 1 is just general guidelines and information. That is how you qualify to get the office or other space that you have. Don't worry, you all did that. So we're going to skip right by that. And so I'm going to start off with space use policies. So starting with office space, which all of you have. So it starts off with single office space. Everything here also applies to shared office space and then some shared office space. Shared office space has a couple other things to add. So cleanliness, your offices must be kept clean and orderly. Every office is given a trash can. If you have any other large items that need to be disposed of, or for some reason your trash can hasn't been disposed of in a while, you can contact Student Support Services. On the PDF, the email, just one of those things, I can't quite update it, but it is commented on the side. So you should be able to see the updated email, which is sgs@asucla.ucla.edu and not sss. It is correct in the cognito form. You can email them, you can email OSAC, and we will always help you out with that. You just got to give us, I think for trash, it's a pretty quick turnaround. Other things, it takes about 2 or 3 weeks. Utilization, offices are primarily for meetings. So, they must be in a state so that you can host meetings in them. So that means, your materials must be kept on shelves or in cabinets. As you all should know, Capital Contingency is a funding body for furniture and other items for your office. You approve the funding, so you all should know about that and be familiar with it. If you want any advice from myself on items that I think are really good for offices, please reach out. And I can totally help you with that. But you should be keeping all of your items and materials in the proper storage furniture and you cannot store things on the floor. They have to be put away. Not only is it a safety concern, it is also an accessibility concern. Kirchhoff is already extremely inaccessible, and so it's very important to OSAC that everyone is able to move as freely as possible throughout the building and throughout all the offices. Furniture.
Sorry to interrupt, but just want to let whoever is in charge know to promote George Chacon, our wonderful alumni representative. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. No problem. All right, and so furniture. You all have furniture in your offices. If you want to get rid of anything, please contact Student Support Services to help you do that. Don't just put it in the hallway. We will move it straight back. Moving furniture will need about 2 to 3 weeks heads up, just to coordinate all that. You know, and technology must feel delay.
Hannah, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we did not hear pretty much anything you just said since Alana jumped in about promotion. Can you repeat what you just said? Oh, and we might have lost you completely. Can anyone else hear Hannah? No? Okay, I'm just making sure it's not my internet.
Is there something going on with this Zoom meeting? I was kind of getting static.
Yeah. Did Hannah just get kicked from the group or what?
Nope. Hannah is.
Oh, okay. I see she's trying to talk, but we cannot hear her.
Yeah.
Hannah, you might have to start the.
Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off.
Are you talking now? That it helped a bit at first. Are you talking now?
Okay. Am I back? Can I get a nod if I am?
I think you're back.
Okay. So I could tell that this is going to be pretty spotty, so I'm going to try my best, but I encourage all of you to please read through this and please reach out to me if you have any questions. We're almost done with offices. So technology, it must be kept locked up. If you want any new technology, that can be purchased through capital contingency. And if you want to get rid of anything, you can contact Student Support Services. If you are having a hard time getting into like a current technology piece that you have, unfortunately, I don't know anything about that. You will have to contact IT. And honestly, I think some of them have been there for so long, you will just have to dispose of it and get it recycled and apply for funding for a new one, unfortunately. Lockinetics. So I'm sure, as you are all aware, you can get your Bruin card coded with access to office space by visiting the A-level information window in Ackerman. And you will fill out a form, a signatory has to sign it, and then you will be able to get access to your office. The same thing goes for the locker room or the locker and mailbox room, which is in 144 on the first floor, and then for your mailroom keys. And audits are conducted quarterly to ensure that all of these rules are followed. I'm going to quickly go through shared office space, and then I will hold for questions. So shared office space, everything that I just said under single office space applies as well. Space in your offices must be shared equitably and fall in accordance with the current allocation. So if you are in a shared office, I will be sending out to all of you pretty soon a worksheet for you to sit down and fill out so that you can determine how space will be shared and all of those good things. You also must have posted a weekly schedule just so that we can tell that not only is space being shared equitably, but time is as well. And then label all the materials and supplies so that we're not confused about what belongs to whom, and do not borrow supplies or anything from another organization or another council member without asking. And you must complete the shared office space agreement annually with the OSAC chairperson. I will sign off on it and a representative from each office. So it doesn't have to be you specifically, but it should be someone that you trust. Okay, that is all the information for offices. Does anyone have a question?
Is there any printers or printing access that we have through the office space or?
Off the top of my head, I do not think there are like the WePo printers in Kirkhoff, but I think that for example 405 and 407 have a big printer, but I off the top of my head, I do not think that every office has their own printer. You can apply for funding to get one, but that is up to y'all and what you have. So I would suggest looking in your office, seeing if you can find a printer, testing it out. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the access might be for council members or anything like that. But from a Kirkhoff and OSAC point of view, it just depends on whether or not your office has a printer or not. And then, like I said, there are WePo machines in Kirkhoff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that office space?
Yeah, I had one question. Is there any way for like I don't know if this would be like your office to like set up some way for like us to get stuff like cleaned up, like
yes. Yeah.
Is that possible?
So depending on exactly what your needs are, and please reach out to me and we can totally work something out. I think Jessica and I have been talking about trying to get as many carpets shampooed as possible, depending on how clean they are. So the best way to guarantee that your space will be clean is to first do some cleaning yourself. So make sure there's nothing on the floors, everything is put away nicely so that maintenance can come in and take care of that. But yeah, that is definitely a possibility. And if anything is like broken, needs repairs, you can also reach out to OSAC or Student Support Services and we will get that taken care of as quickly as possible. But yeah, if you want anything cleaned over the summer, reach out to myself and I can totally arrange that for you. But yeah, that's a great question. Any other questions before I move on to lockers and office and mailboxes? Okay, so locker space, similar things with cleanliness. Everything must be kept clean and orderly. You cannot store items outside of your assigned locker. If I will not be here after in the fall, but if the OSAC walks into the locker room and finds that there are items on the floor, we will be sending an email out to every locker holder, and you will then have about 2 weeks to move that item back into your locker, or it will be thrown away. The locker room and mailbox room is just very small, and it quickly becomes very inaccessible, and items block other lockers. So it's really important that everything is kept in the assigned locker. There's also a trash can. If you need to throw anything away, again, contact Student Support Services. Lockinetics, same thing. Going to the A-level student information window to get your boom card coded to get into room 144 as well. We will help provide a combination lock for your locker. If you need one, just let us know. You may not store food in the locker space for long periods of time unless it is enclosed and non-perishable. As well, you may not store any hazardous medical items or materials in the locker space for any period at all. And lockers are also subject to audits. Mailbox space. So I believe that every office in USAC has a mailbox. All the mailboxes are being moved from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor. So they are also in 144 along with the lockers. You get your key by visiting the A-level student information window and filling out a mailbox key request form. And you must check your mailboxes at least once a quarter. And they are also subject to audits. However, I can really only tell if it's a mess if it's like mail is like pouring out. So as long as it's not that, you should be okay. All right, are there any questions about mailboxes or lockers? Okay, moving on to audit provisions. So storage, this is just things we look for in our audit. So storage and usage, how your items are stored, are they being stored properly? Is the furniture being used properly? Is your technology locked up? And is there proper meeting space potential in this space? Cleanliness, are things stored properly? Again, does anything pose a safety hazard? Are exits blocked, stuff like that? And is your trash disposed of properly? I think our biggest culprit is just food waste. Stuff just gets left in there. Just try to keep an eye on that. We really don't want bugs. Equitable sharing of space. This is only for shared offices. Is your space being shared properly Do you have your weekly schedule and your shared office space agreement posted visibly in your office? So space misuse. These are pretty much all things which warrant a very stern conversation with OSAC, if not immediate removal from the space. So obviously, any threats of violence is subject to immediate removal. As well, anything that results in property damage that is not just wear and tear. You can, as always, if anything gets damaged for any reason, you can contact SGS and we will take care of it. Obviously, if it's a little suspicious about how that came to be like that, we will ask questions. Anything that violates the law or USAC rules or university regulations is considered space misuse. If anything is materially or significantly different from what was planned by an organization, unless you contact OSAC first, and this one just warrants a conversation, most likely. Anything which can be considered harassment or abuse of other students, creates a nuisance for other students, or instigates violence is subject for immediate removal. Kirchhoff is home to a lot of student organizations that support a lot of very vulnerable student populations. And so it's really important that Kirchhoff is a very safe space, welcoming space. And if your organization or members of your organization do anything to threaten that, OSAC takes that very seriously and you will be subject to removal. Anything which unreasonably impairs the use of space by other organizations, again, that'll probably warrant an email from me that's like, you got to clean this up. And then, we'll go from there. And anything which was not utilized space whatsoever. I do not imagine that any of you will just simply not use your office. So, it is any of these things are considered space misuse, and they can result in the revocation of your current space, as well as the right of your organization to apply for future space. So obviously, because you are USAC, that might go a little differently, but I don't imagine that we will have to come to that. As well, any organization can file a complaint of space misuse with OSAC. If any of you ever need to file that complaint, please reach out to OSAC and just ask for the form and I'll send it to you, and then we'll go from there. That I will review it, meet with the people, I will kind of compile something, and then we'll make a presentation to USAC. And the action must be approved by 2/3 vote of USAC for, I'm assuming that whatever response is being asked for, could be removal or it could be something else. That is the audit provisions. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. And finally, liability responsibility. OSAC and ASUCLA are not responsible for damage, theft, or loss of personal property. My recommendation is that if you're going to keep anything valuable in these offices, that you keep it locked up in a storage cabinet or in a lockbox of some kind that you keep in the office. People bring their friends in, people leave doors open. It is a relatively secure place, but just to be sure. And then the last section is just basically walking you through the allocation process. So you have this allocation for the next 2 years, and then begins the reapplication process. So obviously, again, different for y'all, but just so you're aware, you have this space. The space is yours for 2 years, and then we begin again. So it's effective until spring quarter of 2023 to 2024. If you're a part of any other organizations that have an office space or that might want office space, this is a really good thing to know. Applications will reopen in winter quarter of 2023. And then the final agreement, you can just go ahead and you can fill it out now. You're also, I understand you're in council, you're more than welcome to fill this out later. I will follow up with you if you do not fill it out by the end of the week. And then the next page, I'm just asking for, if you know any signatories information yet, I would love that, just so that I can be in contact with as many people as possible. So I make sure that I get information out, because I know that your inboxes are always flooded. But does anyone have any final questions for me before I sign off?
Just want to say thank you so much. I know the stuff is probably not the kind of thing that a lot of people realize how important it is, but nothing would function if nobody had space to do it. So appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. I stepped out just for a small bit, and I was just curious whether we had gone over whether there's hour restrictions for the offices.
Yes. So you have general access to Kirchhoff during building hours, but there is also on the Lockinetics form that you will get, you can put down that you will get after hours access. And I've only done this once. So I'm not super clear on it, and I can get more information if anyone wants. But the back door that leads into on the same side as the patio that leads into the cafe, there is a code, or there's a little lock, and you can use your Bruin card to get in after hours. And that should take you to, I think you can go all the way up to the 4th floor on those set of stairs. It might be trickier if you need elevator access. And so if you would like to request after hours access and you need to use the elevator to get up to your office, let me know, and I will, contact ACCLA and try to figure out the best way so that everyone can have access. Because again, Kirkhoff, super inaccessible. And as well, if there's any other accessibility needs for your office space, let me know, and we will try to get that taken care of before we start again in fall. Or I will do my best, and anything that has to get passed along to the next chairperson will. But thank you, Theodore, for that question. Do you have anything else?
How do we know the find our locker and mailbox numbers?
Yes. So what I will do, let me see if I have it up right now. I do have it up. Okay. So I'm going to drop the official allocations into the chat right now, and you can just search up your name or your office, and it'll be right there. And if you have a question in the future, you can email me. I believe I'm also in your Slack workspace, so you can find me in Slack and shoot me a DM. And we also have an Instagram. You can DM that, goes right to my phone, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's a great question. Any other questions?
Great work, thanks.
Thank you. Well, it was so nice to meet all of you. Congratulations again. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And as always, you can always reach out to OSAC with any office or space related questions. And I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Quicker now that this stuff is coming to a close.
Thank you so much, Hannah. We appreciate you. Thank you. That was very informational. I learned some stuff I didn't know last year. Okay, awesome. Next we have Clara with CalPreg. Is she already promoted? Can we promote her? I think I see a hand raised. There we go. You got the floor.
Hello, thank you so much. I'll try to be as quick as possible. Let's see, share my screen really quickly. But hello, my name is Clara. Nice to see all of you again. I'm just going to give a quick presentation about our plastics campaign and the resolution that we hope all of you will pass tonight. So super quick refresher, CalPreg is a student-run, student-funded, statewide advocacy group, and we work to protect the environment, fight hunger and homelessness, increase civic engagement, and make college more affordable. And our priority campaign this term is our Beyond Plastics campaign. So much pollution comes from things that we don't need and we've known for decades we shouldn't be using. So reducing the amount of plastic we produce would mean there is less toxins released into the air and less plastic waste contaminating our drinking water. So that's why CalPreg is working to get the LA City Council to pass an ordinance that would reduce plastic waste in the city and also ban polystyrene, which is styrofoam, and it's a very dangerous material that a lot of other cities in California have already banned. And we've made a lot of progress on this issue. Last year, we got the UC system to commit to phasing out single-use plastics. And of course, like about 2 months ago, we got the LA County Board of Supervisors to pass this very same ordinance with the support of USAC and a lot of UCLA students. So expanding this policy to encompass all of LA County to be plastic-free is a really big step in the right direction. And so far, we've met with 7 city council offices to express the concerns of students on this issue and also make specific recommendations about policy implementation. And this also includes the chair of the environmental committee, which is Councilmember O'Farrell, as well as a lot of other offices who've expressed support. And the city council has recently actually taken action on plastic pollution. They implemented policies that affect city properties and events. And so basically we want to get the support in order to expand on this to encompass everything, including like private businesses. So we have a meeting with a key city council office on Thursday, and they're interested in introducing a motion to fill some of these gaps. So as this the voices of the student body, we think that USAC passing this resolution, in addition to all of the other support we've gathered, will do a lot to encourage the city council to make the right choice on this. So thanks so much. That was my super quick presentation. I'll stop sharing. If anyone has any questions, like right now, I can answer them, but otherwise you can also ask questions when we actually do the resolution part. Yeah. Anyone have any initial questions?
Well, hey, thank you so much, as usual. Always doing a lot of great work. Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing that resolution.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So now we got appointments, right? So I know this is our first appointment session, and I'm not trying to question people's intelligence. I just want to explain like how it works. So the way this process is going to go is we're going to introduce the candidate. The candidate is then they're going to give an opening statement, right? Once they give their opening statement, then we'll open it up for questions, right? So council members will be able to ask them questions regarding like, hey, why do you think you should get the job? You know, what makes you, whatever you want to ask them specifically about that pertains to this job, this position, you ask them, right? So after that, the individual will then give their closing statement, right? And then after they give their closing statement, then ARC will come up and ARC will say, hey, like this is what, this is our recommendation, right? Which ARC, you should have like interviewed individuals and said, hey, I agree with this person, or I don't agree, this person should be the individual. Like you're going to give your recommendation, right? Once you give your recommendation, then council is going to discuss, and then we'll vote on the candidates, okay, and determine like who will be, if they'll get the positions or not, right? So the way this is, we have two candidates, right, and we have two positions, but for the board of directors, one is going to be the main individual on the board, and one is going to be an alternate, okay? So Art, did you set this up so that the main individuals went first and then the alternate went second, or how did you set it up?
So we just voted on two candidates to come speak to council. I'm not sure if we voted on who's going to be like the main one, the alternate. We think that it's supposed to be like, I'm not sure, Naomi, if you have.
Yeah, I thought we said what the most votes was going to be main.
Okay, so we can do that. So what we can do, because we're supposed to vote on both candidates. After each person goes, we vote on them, right? Okay. That's how I remember doing it. So we can still do it that same way, like whoever has the most votes, or if you want a certain person. Maybe we should hear both of them out, and then we do that. Do y'all want to do it that way, or?
Oh, we had put it in the order of who got the most votes as main.
Oh, we could also do that, yes.
But either option works.
Yeah, so I think Jeffrey was the one who got the most votes in our council, so he would be the main person, and then Julia would be the alternate if they both go through.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Wait, I'm sorry, Danielle, I just seen your message. Clara, did you need the space again? We were supposed to. We do resolutions at the end of like after the officer reports.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this is like not how it's supposed to work, but I had thought that I was gonna like present the resolution like when you guys do the resolution part.
Yeah, so yeah, because I'm sorry, I just got a message and they thought that I don't know if you thought you were supposed to do the resolution now with the special presentations, or were you waiting for
no. Oh, sorry, I thought that I would just do it at the end when it's the resolution.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how it goes. I think someone got confused a little bit.
No, okay, sorry.
I just wanted to clarify. Okay, so is Jeffrey and Julia promoted?
Yeah, they are already promoted, Carl, and ready to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think Jeffrey, you have it. You have the floor.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, council members, so much for having me tonight. I really look forward to having a chance to speak with you all tonight. Congratulations to everyone on winning, first of all. Really excited to have a moment to share with y'all my vision for BOD. Just for reference, for those of you who don't know, I guess I should start there. My name is Jeffrey Umanya Munoz. I go by he, him, his pronouns. I've served in a lot of different capacities in USAC and also in student organizing spaces, but I think this year, what I think is most relevant to the conversation we're having today is I'm the chairperson of the Student Initiated Outreach Committee, which functions in much the same way as ASUCLA BOD. So I look forward to talking a lot about that. And I also am the internal representative for IDEAS at UCLA, which represents undocumented students. I also serve as the vice chair of the Campus Safety Alliance this year. And I also sit on UGC for AAC. So really excited to share experiences that I've gathered in those spaces and how I think they can affect and I can use them best to help me navigate the BOD space. Also, just my freshman year, I had a lot more interaction with the USAC space as I've had for the past 2 years. So just super excited. I think I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. So now we can open up for questions. Hey, please think of some questions. Everyone should ask a question. We'll do questions for 5 minutes. So we'll end questions at 7:48. So we'll open up for questions. Council members, ask questions.
Hi, Jeffrey. Thanks for being here, and your work, your publications are awesome. One of the things that's come up recently, and credit to Geronimo for raising this, is that a lot of people at UCLA, especially people who are coming in from foster care and need jobs, and there haven't been enough available in the past, and associate students at UCLA is one of our major employers. So do you think you could, I'm sure you'll I can feel like you're sort of accounting for this, but I just would like to hear, first of all, that getting more jobs for foster youth is something you're committed to. And secondly, if you have any plans on how to do that, would love to hear that too.
Yeah. Thank you, Eliana, for your question. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. I mean, I think it goes without saying that I am very motivated for student workers and student jobs. Sitting in SIOC, that's a lot of what we do, making sure that we can provide safe jobs that students could really benefit from. That's something that I would really like to see in ASUCLA BOD. I'd actually be really interested to see how the pandemic really impacted ASUCLA employment levels and employment decisions specifically among student workers. And I think with BOD being able to have access to a lot of those and being privy to a lot of those, I think executive session discussions and documents that have to do with a lot of those matters, I think I'd be able to have a much greater idea of what exactly is the state of student workers within ASUCLA now, what worked pre-pandemic, what worked during the pandemic, and sort of collect best practices from both eras to figure out how we can best support students in the now, especially since we're kind of living in this in between where we're living in a pandemic and a non-pandemic world in different ways. And I think especially seeing how we can expand jobs and figure out what other areas ASUCLA hasn't really touched on with student jobs and how we can best support them. And I think I would even love to see what ASUCLA can do to perhaps potentially even grow partnerships amongst different student groups or other entities on campus to increase their outreach to student employment opportunities in spaces that may not just be ASUCLA dominated, obviously taking care of all of the legalese in the background. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Very good. Glad to hear that that's one of your priorities, and really appreciate your commitment to always being here to serve the community.
Thank you.
Awesome. Next council member, question. We got 2 more minutes.
I can ask something, and I know I interviewed Jeffrey already, but I know I really liked his answer to this one question. But it touches on accountability and transparency. So how would you make sure that you're accountable with the actions taken by the board of directors, and how do you ensure that there's transparency in the office?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I think one of the things I talked about a lot in ARC is that I sort of view ASUCLA BOD as basically a sleeping giant for student power. I think it is a space that hasn't been fully well developed, and specifically the appointments role, and being able to advocate for students' needs or what students would like to see within the nonprofit that works directly for them and services for them, but also produces services for, a global community at this point. I think there needs to be a much greater development and connection between the BOD appointments and the student body, but also BOD and USAC. And I think connecting BOD and USAC a lot more closely together past the appointments process will inevitably help BOD connect a lot more directly to students. And I think one of the things that I said in ARC is that I would really love to figure out a structural way to really facilitate the relationship between BOD and USAC so that year to year, there's not much of a difficulty in figuring out what exactly are the responsibilities of BOD to USAC, of the BOD appointments to USAC, and of USAC to BOD and the BOD appointments. And so for me, honestly, I would really be interested to really formalize a process with transparency reports, but also making sure that BOD appointments are required by USAC bylaws to come and present to council, but also to specific council members, and make sure that we're going beyond just written transparency reports, but that we're actively communicating the work that each of our spaces is doing and figuring out ways to create collaboration amongst the USAC and the BOD appointment spaces, but also really open up the BOD appointment space to be a lot more student-centered and a lot more accessible to everyday students the way that all of your offices are, and I think even another way that I sort of envisioned after the ARC interview is really growing the relationship between the BOD appointments and the council executives, the president and the IVP and the EVP, and making sure that they have a good working relationship even outside of those mandated perhaps bylaw visits that any BOD appointment may make once, if I'm able to get on to BOD and work with y'all to make those changes, but making sure that even amongst the USAC executives, there's a really strong connection between the appointments to essentially the body that oversees and really governs USAC affairs in the first place.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Phoebe, is that a hand?
Yes, that is a hand. Also, so excited to see you, Jeffrey, in this space. I'm so excited that you're going for board of directors. But my question is about building partnerships. I know a lot of students want to build partnerships within like ASUCLA run eateries for like food recovery or sustainability initiatives. Sorry, this is like a very fat question, but it's like difficult given that like ASUCLA like facilities are like low-key recovering because of like COVID-19. I'm curious like how you would go about like within your position, like leveraging that role to like build some of those partnerships with students.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think one of the biggest things for me motivating me to get into this role is really figuring out how ASUCLA can support student initiatives a lot more directly, and specifically student events that, utilize ASUCLA resources and especially ASUCLA facilities. And I think the BOD appointments should have a much larger role in pushing ASUCLA to really increase its social outreach and its community outreach in putting on specific events for students and having basically an event planning role, but also actively providing spaces for students to be able to enjoy themselves and build community amongst themselves. I think for me specifically, like I'm saying, I'm really excited to see the information that being on BOD is able to provide, just because even though I'm not like honestly that STEM motivated, I do want to see specific data honestly on how ASUCLA really already puts these programs into practice, and what they're already doing, sort of taking an inventory of what's already there. How can they be made better, like programs like like the Art in the Union competition or the different events that ASUCLA sometimes co-sponsors, even with your own USAC offices, figuring out ways to push the envelope on those a lot more, and figure out how we can even include new programs, new initiatives, new events with student orgs outside of the USAC space as well, to make sure that student orgs at large know that ASUCLA is just as there to support them as the smaller USAC entity is.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And last question, Devon.
Sorry. Again, apologize for my voice. You kind of touched on this before, but I would love for you to elaborate again on how you plan to understand concerns of different communities across campus, such as transfers, and make the board more visible to people that are unaware of this space at hand.
Yeah, so I think I've had honestly a lot of experience with this within the SIOC space, which, like I said, functions a lot like the ASU-CLA Board of Directors space and the relationship that it has to USAC. And I think these spaces, more than anything, because they encompass such a large part of the university, but also what we would like to do as students, especially with limited resources, I think there's a lot of different stakeholders that come at a table all at once. And figuring out the best way to navigate the situation amongst all of them and all their needs is incredibly difficult. I think for me, the first thing really starts by making sure that the BOD appointment, whoever it is open to conversation, not just with council members, but with student orgs directly. And so I think that there needs to be a lot more development of the BOD appointment position into essentially sort of like a shadow USAC office, in the sense that there should be a lot more outreach being done specifically by BOD appointments online, to make sure that students have a direct access to them that isn't necessarily through the middle forum of you have to talk to this USAC officer's director, and then you have to talk to the USAC officer, and then you'll talk to your BOD appointment. Like these appointments are given to USAC, but they're supposed to represent and serve all students as a whole. So I think I really want to develop creative outreach strategies that haven't been used by BOD appointments that may be used by other spaces on campus, including yourselves, to make sure that students can, one, get to the BOD appointment, get the information that they need from ASU-CLA directly, but also that they can push any initiatives and make sure that their appointments are accurately representing their needs on BOD. And I think that comes especially with making sure that the BOD appointment is also doing targeted outreach into marginalized students and into communities that are often left out of the conversation, including transfer youths. So I hope that answers the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I just had a quick, so you'll be able to attend the June 13th through the 15th BOD retreat, right? Okay, awesome, bet. All right, thank you so much. You're free to give your closing statement.
Yeah, I just want to thank the council one last time for giving me an opportunity to hear me out. To be fair, it probably won't be the last time you see me. I'm always running around doing something, so I will annoy your office in some way at some point during the year, but I appreciate the opportunity to come today and talk specifically about BOD. Like I mentioned, I think I have the experience necessary to serve in this specific position. I'll just emphasize it one last time, but I really think the experience being SIOC chairperson has provided me a really unique insight into how ASU-CLA BOD appointments should behave, and how they should approach a space where they're both financially responsible for student fees, but also responsible for pushing student issues on a much greater level in front of administration. And I'm excited to do that work. I have some ideas, but more than anything, I will express that I'm more than anything excited to learn about the BOD space. And I think the nature of the appointment lends itself to being able to do a lot of great work even after USAC terms out. And so I really hope that I've been able to convince you all tonight. And yeah, I hope it all goes well. But thank you so much for the opportunity. Regardless, I look forward to the decision.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. All right. So at this point, ARC, you'll give your recommendation, right? Because everyone individually votes on ARC. So it'll be like, hey, we did a 3-0 recommendation or 2-1 recommendation. Everyone from ARC doesn't have to speak. Only one person can speak, unless there's like a one dissent, then that person can give like, hey, this is why I said no or something like that. So whoever wants to speak from ARC, you can kind of like just give the group, I guess, consensus or whatever.
I can speak on behalf of ARC, and as a chairperson of ARC, we really love Jeffrey and how he really emphasizes like accessibility and transparency and just like kind of reforming and kind of using BOD to its like greatest potential. And I think that came through in his interview with ARC. And like a lot of us voted yes on Jeffrey and ranked him really, really high on our recommendations list. So definitely ARC or Jeffrey has ARC's recommendation. I don't know if Naomi wants to add anything or if Hansika or Kian wants to add anything about Jeffrey's interview.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mullen, just for clarity, can you tell us what the ARC vote was?
We did it by rank voting, so we ranked all of the candidates. Oh yes, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 3-0. So everyone was in favor, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So when we asked for ARC recommendation, since this is our first one, no worries. We just need to know what the committee's vote is. And then if anyone who sits on ARC would like to comment, they're more than welcome to. Thank you.
And also, I just want to like, if you like say like 2-1, right, and you're like the one person that dissented, and they come and give like a great interview, like you can say like, hey, I changed my mind. Like I want to also say like, I'm very confident in their ability after hearing them speak today, and stuff like that. All right. So okay, awesome. So 3-0. Okay, awesome. So now we open it up for discussion amongst the entire council, right? And so everyone can just kind of like say like, whatever you want to say. You can say just good things like, hey, interview was great, such and such, or you can discuss like, hey, I don't know because of this, that, and other. So yeah, anyone want to go first? I think that's one, right?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge how Jeffrey has expressed so much intimate knowledge about student organizing and how UCLA and ASUCLA operates. You presented very prepared and ready, and I'm so excited for the outcome of our votes because I think we all are in unison. But thank you so much.
Anyone else?
I want to say I appreciate Jeffrey's commitment to supporting our student organization, some marginalized communities, and just the empowerment of all our students. Appreciate that. Means a lot.
All right, awesome. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say real quick, oops, sorry. Thank you so much for taking the time to come speak with us. I really enjoyed hearing all your answers, specifically the answer to Phoebe's question, because I also was wondering about that. And I think you answered it really well and have a great amount of knowledge of like how you'll be like working in this role.
I think that's Juan or Phoebe again.
Jeffrey knows what's up. He knows so much about the UCLA community. He's looking out for all the marginalized communities. He understands transparency. He's super qualified for it. Jeffrey is literally the best, and he deserves this position. Love you, Jeffrey.
Do you want to say anything, Anna?
You did great, Jeffrey. I am very excited to hear your plans for the future as we vote on this.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I just want to add, yeah. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Alicia.
Yes, Jeffrey, there is no one, well, everyone, there's no one more qualified than Jeffrey. As you heard from these responses, and as I saw from the application, it's just, there's no one with a more strategic plan or a more knowledgeable background in all of this involvement. And that's something to keep in mind. It's going to be really, really great to have him on BOD. I'm through the roof, excited and hopeful that he gets the position.
All right, awesome. Anyone else? Okay, yeah, I just want to add, did a great job today. I think he answered all the questions like very thoroughly and, show why he should be in this position. So yeah, I'm very impressed today. All right, so with that being said, now can we get a motion? So for this motion, can you make sure the person who motions, make sure, hey, I move to approve Jeffrey as the voting member for the BOD ASUCLA, and then the next person would be the alternate. I hope that makes sense. So can we get a motion?
Move to approve Jeffrey as the voting member of the Associated Students UCLA Board of Directors.
Perfect. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, Eliana motions, Sarah seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, is there anybody not voting? We got 10.
Juan, Phoebe, and Anna all raising their
Oh
hand.
yeah, okay, I forgot. Yeah, they are. So that's okay. So by a vote of 13-0, Jeffrey is approved. He is he's on the ASUCLA Board of Directors. Everyone, congratulate him. Congrats.
Congratulations, Jeffrey. Well earned.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thank you. Okay, now next we have Julia. She's already promoted. And so the floor is yours, Julia.
Hi, so my name is Julia. I'm a third year econ major. Honestly, I'm a little confused by what just happened. Was I not able to even apply for the position of the main voting member? Or was it automatically just decided based off what seems like personal connections?
I think the ARC voted by ranked choice. So to decide our two candidates, and Jeffrey got more just like votes, like points in like you on the application process. But then ARC voted on the two candidates that were appointed. So you're one of the members of the board of directors, but I think you'll serve as an alternate, the non-voting member, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to still interview for the council for the main voting position, correct?
I don't think so. I think that would be Jeffrey.
Got it. Thank you. Well, in that case, I'm a CPL management fellow. I'm currently the Bruin Readmission Program Peer Counseling Coordinator. So I deal directly with students who have been previously academically dismissed from the university, and I help them get back into the university. I'm also the UCLA Unicamp Internal Affairs Coordinator, the incoming SAPOSA Health Caucus Rep, and the LBSA Corporate Relations VP. So as you can tell, I am heavily involved across campus, especially in places that ASUCLA and USAC typically aren't involved in. With that being said, I have a bunch of experience with tangible, accomplished outcomes in all of these spaces. For example, the Bruin Readmission Peer Counseling Coordinator position. We were successfully able to admit 5 students in our last cohort, and we're planning on readmitting all 7, hopefully, with the successful completion of their program. And we were able, under CPO, to outreach to thousands of students and community members through the pandemic with the CPO food card program and CPO food giveaways.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Julia. All right. So I think, and I'm trying to set up the timer. So I think like last time we'll do like 5 to 10 minutes because everyone just kind of start thinking of a lot of questions. So we'll do 5 to 10 minutes. Now I do want to acknowledge before we go forward though, Divine, you didn't get to vote in the last one, right? I'm so sorry about that. So I'm getting thrown off a little bit because there's like I know like everyone's like in one room and stuff, so like the votes are kind of throwing me off slightly. Okay, so from now on, I'll make sure I do like yays, nays, and then abstaining. Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I got a message from a current board member mentioning that this is a 2-year position. So, like, I guess going forward to 2024. So, Julia, what year are you graduating?
I'm actually undecided on my graduation date thus far, as I'm pursuing a second major.
So might be 23, might be 24, is that correct?
Most likely 24, but yes, could be 23 too. It's in between the second major.
That makes sense. I mean, if it's probably gonna be 24, I'm glad to hear that. I guess if you do graduate in 23, you would just have to open the position up early. But if anyone else has any thoughts on this, would love to hear them. And Julia, very much appreciate your work is very impressive and very much appreciate your coming in here. And the current board member says by her bylaws, it should be a 2-year appointment. So sounds like you'll probably be able to do 2 years, but yeah. Anyhow, thank you so much, Julia. I really do. You've done a lot of great work, and I really appreciate your commitment to the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Eliana.
Okay, awesome. All right, so yeah, from I guess going forward, we'll just kind of like do, you know, yays, nays by the offices, okay? So we're opening up for questions now. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Feel free to go and ask Julie questions. One.
Cool. I'm going to ask the same question that I asked Jeffrey to Julia, which is how you're planning on helping students build partnerships with ASUCLA. The specific examples that I mentioned were food recovery efforts in compliance with one of the bills that they have to work towards. But in general, like especially coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, trying to build those relationships despite knowing and acknowledging that ASUCLA might have a lot of operational items that they have to take a look at too.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually serve on the Basic Needs Committee, and I'm hoping to expand that partnership between ASUCLA and Basic Needs. Over the past few years, I've had the opportunity to kind of be a part of the Bruin Meals program as well, where we give hot meals to students at the UA, so University Apartments North and South. And I hope to expand that by having the acceptance of EBT at ASUCLA stores. I think it's a really great initiative and help destigmatize the use of public assistance. A lot of our students are low income, or they may not be in a position to have a job at the moment. So CalFresh and EBT provides the opportunity for them to feed themselves. So the acceptance of EBT at ASUCLA stores will help reduce student hunger on campus by providing more accessible food options.
Awesome, thank you. Sarah?
Hi, Julia. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us. My question was, what do you foresee being the biggest issue next year as being on the board of directors for UCLA, and how do you plan on addressing that issue?
Yeah, so incoming this year, we thought it was going to be obviously more in person, but then we went like Zoom back and forth. Incoming 2022 to 2023, we anticipate that it's going to be more in person and that it's going to be an even larger return to campus. So ASUCLA needs to be in that position to kind of help students transition to this new campus atmosphere that for a lot of them is completely new, including myself. I've been at UCLA for 3 years and I have still yet to have a full regular on-campus year. So I think ASUCLA needs to increase student engagement. Again, this can be done with partnering with partnerships like the BN committee or other student orgs. In the past, last quarter, I'm actually partnered up with ASUCLA and Unicamp for a Wellness Wednesday, and we got one of the largest turnouts for that event. So more events like that, definitely to promote student engagement and involvement is key.
Eliana?
Thank you very much. Great work, Julia. Thanks for being here. So my questions are, what do you want to do on having jobs in the associate students, UCLA, and any other entities you can influence for foster youth in particular, and just availability of jobs for people who want them? Also, what would your interest be in terms of establishing more like social and enrichment stuff in summer for summer students and faculty and workers? I feel like that's been somewhat neglected in terms of social stuff in the past.
So I know since the pandemic, it's been kind of difficult to fill positions within ASUCLA on campus jobs and things of that nature. To combat that, I'd like to incentivize ASUCLA jobs more and provide ASUCLA specifically work experiences to be more inclusive, especially for students of color, considering ASUCLA is one of the largest employers of students of color on campus. So I think it's essential for them to feel included and represented in their workspace. And as far as summer enrichment goes, definitely more events and collabs. Although not all students are back on campus for the summer, I think it's important to promote the students that are on campus and engage them as well.
Appreciate that, Julia. Very good work.
Milan.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the same question because I think that this question is just really important, and both candidates had really, really good answers for it. So how will you ensure that there's transparency and accountability within the board of directors, and also transparency in communicating this with USAC?
To be quite honest, I think the ASUCLA Board of Directors position is not transparent for students, especially for students who aren't in the USAC space. I'm personally not in the USAC space. I was told this via connections from via connections, like friends that are like very removed, posts I've seen maybe like once a year type of thing. So to combat that, I'd make ASUCLA Board of Directors more accessible to students. I think ASUCLA Board of Directors need to have a stronger representation for student reg events and further supporting students with direct interactions. Again, attending these events and showing their support to help promote that kind of openness and accessibility to the Board of Directors position.
Okay, thank you. Teddy?
Well, first I want to say thank you, Julie, for coming out. Appreciate you lending your time with us. My question is pretty much oriented around the transfer student experience as TSR. And so I'm curious on how in this role will you help transfer students essentially make the most of their experience here at UCLA?
I think advocating for transfer students is essential, especially coming back from this pandemic. They're not really as involved because they couldn't be physically on campus a lot of the time. So I think promoting more transfer directed events, again, collabs with student orgs makes a really big difference. I think it's essential to kind of have those collabs outreach and get that networking in for transfer students, as well as for departments that specifically advocate for marginalized communities like transfer students. My work within CPO, we specifically again, target marginalized communities like transfer students. And I think it's essential to kind of keep up those collaborations to ensure that transfers feel included and represented in the UCLA space.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julia. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, you're free to give your closing statement.
So again, thank you for the opportunity to interview amongst all of y'all today. In the ASUCLA Board of Directors position, I'm excited to create and improve ASUCLA resources to better serve the needs of our student population. I want to be the voice for students who normally don't get a seat at the table based off of connections, networking, marginalized community background, any sort of obstacle that they may face. I want to make sure that they're represented within my position, and I hope to do so under the ASUCLA Board of Directors.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you so much. Okay, now we'll go to ARC for ARC's review.
I can give ARC's review. Just to say the official vote, we also voted on Julia 3-0. And we would recommend Julia to just council because she really stands for these marginalized communities and kind of also transforming the board of directors space to make it more accessible to students and more like impactful for the student body. So yes, that is ARC's recommendation.
Okay. Does any other ARC members want to comment before we open it up to the entire council? All right, so we'll be opening up to the entire council like for discussion. Who is that? Okay, Juan.
Hi, Julia. I really appreciate that your responses had really clear and tangible outcomes that you highlighted and shared, which I really appreciate, and it makes you stand out as a candidate. And I also wanted to apologize for this situation circumstance that made it feel as if this felt co-opted or in a way disserving. I do want to acknowledge that that the board that the student run and prize board of directors is 2 positions, and both positions, if I'm not mistaken, are both equally stipended. So even though the alternate position doesn't have voting power, they still have an equal voice and value in the contributions to the board of directors.
I also think the alternate does get to vote like after the first quarter. I could be wrong about this, but I think they do. But please let me know if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right about that, Eliana. If I'm not mistaken, wait, what did it say? They vote if voting member. So they only vote when the voting member is absent. Okay, so they become full voting second year, starting second year. Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, if we have any more positions like this where it's like 2 positions to the same board, this was like a tricky one. I think we should hear both candidates out fully first and then kind of go from there just for transparency purposes. And because Milan, when you said that you guys voted more, I thought like you guys voted 3-0 for Jeffrey and then like 2-1 to 0 for her or something like that. And so there were like some problems or something like that. But yeah, let's like just going forward for transparency purposes, like let's make sure that we're like if there's any other positions like this, let's like hear both candidates out first and then we'll like discuss and make our decisions. Okay. And so we still have to vote Julia into this position. So does anyone else have anything to add? Oh yes, it's Patty.
Hi, Julia. Patty Solomon. Great interview. I did want to just check to see if you're available to attend the board retreat that's taking place June 13th through 15th in Bruin Woods.
Yes, I'm available.
Great, thank you.
Patty reminded me to ask you that like 5 times and I still forgot. All right. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, Julia. If no one else has any other questions, can we get a motion? And for this one, make sure you motion to approve Julia as a, would it be a?
One more question.
Oh yeah, one more question, Eliana?
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Carl. Just Julia, be curious about your plans on like collaborating with the disabled community working on accessibility. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm a part of the CPO Management Fellow team, and we work directly with the Basic Needs Committee. A lot of our CPO members, like myself, we attend the Basic Needs luncheons and are able to serve on the committee and provide direct kind of input. So if there was to be an ASU CLA BN committee collab, I would be able to facilitate and advocate for that.
Thanks, appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, just want to say awesome. Thanks for coming in. And now I move to approve Julia Toronto as our alternate member who will start voting in the second year for Associate Students UCLA Board of Directors.
All right, can we get a second?
I second.
Okay. Eliana motions. Well, we're supposed to go line by line, but it's cool. Eliana motions, Divine seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Can you go line by line for a vote?
Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. Hey, for future, just to make this easier on me, I'm sorry. Like, can y'all just like everyone grab their own laptop or like at least just have your phone with the Zoom just for voting purposes? Okay, so we'll go down the line. Okay, can everyone put their hands down, please? All right, for IVP, yay, nay, or abstain?
Yay.
Okay, thank you. For EVP, yay, nay, or
Nay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You say yay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, for Gen Rep 1, yay, nay, or abstain?
Doesn't vote.
Oh, damn, that's right. I'm sorry, Tessa. Gen Rep 2?
Abstain.
Is there a particular reason?
Do I need to give one?
Yeah, it typically, like, if you're abstaining, it's because, like, a conflict of interest or something like that.
I don't really have a reason, so yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's fine. We'll just shoot this one for abstaining.
I think just because of the process of this all being so last minute will be my reason for abstaining.
Okay, you don't think you got a good understanding of to speak with her?
Yeah, and overall the whole thing.
Okay, I got you. Gen Rep 3,
Yay.
yay. AAC,
Nay.
okay. CEC,
Yay.
CSC,
Yes, yay.
okay. CAC,
Nay.
FAC,
No.
FSC,
Yay.
SWIC, Student Wellness Commissioner.
Yay. And it's SWC, Carl. It's okay. It's okay.
I've been up since 5, all right. Okay. TSR,
Yay.
all right. ISR,
Yeah.
boom. Okay, so I didn't miss anybody, right? I don't think so. All right, by a vote of 9-3-1, Julia is approved, and she is a alternate member to the BOD, ASUCLA BOD. So, hey, congrats, everyone! Congratulate her. Very excited to see what you and Jeffrey are going to do this year. And obviously, don't be strangers. Please come through. Reach out if y'all need any help or have any questions about anything. Okay. All right. So moving forward, we're gonna get into officer reports. Also, congrats everyone. We got through our first appointments. Now, I just want to add this real quick. Typically, for these like question sessions, we're probably gonna be doing we're gonna have like 20 people to go through like in a night. Okay. So we're gonna have to make sure we're following procedure, making sure that like we're raising our hands and we're doing like 2 to 3 people, 2 to 3 minutes per person, and like make sure that if you got questions, like ask them so that we can like get through them, because we're gonna be here till like 2 a.m. if we don't. Okay. But great job today. Okay. Like thank you everyone for asking questions and stuff. All right, so we'll get into officer reports. So for me, basically this last week I kind of helped with the UCLA demand gun reform event that happened. 2 individuals reached out. They wanted to know, how to get the permits, and just basically wanted some exposure. And so I've seen other council members as well, like sharing it on their social media page. So good on you for that. Thank you so much for that. Got access to my office. So finally in here, got to clean up and stuff like that. And that's why I was asking Hannah about, the process for that. So, hey, please feel free to like make sure you're reaching out and using, using those resources that we have to make sure that you're, making your office comfortable, because it's your office at the end of the day. And, I think some people have like beds in their offices, which is crazy, but it's your office, so you do what you want. Okay. This week I'll be last week I also worked on like getting my applications out. I'm actually posting them today, like later tonight. So working on hiring the rest of my staff, and I think that's pretty much it. I got a lot of meetings to catch up on, a lot of individuals I'm still meeting for the first time, and it's a lot of you that I still got to get back to so we can get coffee. So I'm working on that too. Okay. So thank you so much. And IVP.
It's the IVP office. I did go to also the gun reform protest, and also like kind of helped facilitate that on our Instagram, like raise student awareness for that. We're also working on staff hiring, which is going really well. We're starting interviews, and applications are still live and they're rolling. So students still have a chance to apply if they want to, and there will be interviews scheduled depending on when applications come in. And lastly, we were working on the ARC interviews for the ACUCLA Board of Directors. We interviewed 5 applicants and then chose 2 applicants out of that and then voted on them. And they were here today to speak in front of council, which was good. And we have our appointments. So that is all, I think, and I'll pass it off to Divine for the EVP.
Hello. Sorry again for the third time about my voice. This week I opened applications for my office. Thank you to the people that reposted it. Excited to speak in the hiring process. I met with a UCSA member and future member just to discuss on-campus initiatives that my office will be focusing on, as well as how we can apply it to the UCSA system as a whole. Again, with Carl and Milan, we helped out with the anti-gun violence Lion that happened today. And one of my chief of staffs was able to attend and speak at the Lion, which was great. Thank you to everyone that supported the Lion. I was unable to attend, but it looked like it was a great turnout and hopefully it got the message across. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. General 1. Tessa, you can speak on behalf of Keon for like what your office is doing.
Okay, sounds good, Carl. Hi everyone. I'll be proxying for Keon for Gen 1 today. We have a hyperlink in the agenda of just like a master list of what we did within the past 2 weeks. Carl, do you want me to brief over them like vocally?
My bad. Actually, I just seen that it was a written report. I'm so sorry. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Wanted to put you on spot real quick. I'm sorry.
All good.
All right. So we'll skip down to Gen Rep 3, actually, Eliana.
Hello, lovely people. So together with Carl and Mylan and Vine, I was at the gun reform rally. I spoke there, shared it on Instagram, and trying to shout out to Emma and Anna for organizing, trying to shout out to our speakers, to Janae, to the speakers from the EVP office and Bruin Democrats. So yeah, that was also me, Juan, and Alicia. We're working on the appointment search committee together with our awesome people on the appointment review committee to help get our applicants in for associate students, UCLA Board of Directors, also doing initial planning and outreach to hopefully get some activities going on this summer for our amazing summer students and faculty and workers, because people do volunteer in summer, so they deserve our social and recreational activities too, just like everybody else. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Eliana. CSC.
For my office, we have worked on interviews. So we've interviewed a lot of new staff for our hiring process for next year. I also, like Leanna mentioned, helped work on the coordinating the search committee to help transition the candidates that were interested for the board of directors to get reviewed by the appointment review committee. Our commission is also preparing for banquet, which is exciting. So we're getting ready to transition to celebrate our current members and those that are graduating. And yeah.
Thank you. CAC?
Yes, for TAC, we are finalizing our end of the year event. We just had JRF yesterday, and I'm beginning my director's interviews tomorrow all the way till Friday. So that is it for me.
Thank you. Next we got FAC.
Hi, everyone. Okay. In the past week, I shadowed the Green Initiative Funds meeting where I just viewed them doing the allocations and everything, just because I'm transitioning, learning a lot from them. I did a development meeting with Quinn from DSU, and we talked a lot about the MetaMap project, which has been a project within FAC for a while. Still doing interviews for the directors and exec, but meeting with a couple of the exec that I've already onboarded to discuss, I guess, decisions for where people are going to be placed for directors. But there will be more applications over the summer. to reopen because I'm not fully hired yet. And then besides that, this Friday is the Transportation Services Advisory Board meeting and the Remote Access Task Force meetings, which I will be attending with potentially some representatives from FAC.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Next we got FSC.
FSC this week has been, we're organizing the return of lab coats, eye clickers, and goggles. We're also just interviewing for specific positions, and then probably working to get staffers for the office. And then also another thing that my office has been doing is I plan to, haven't yet, but just meet with different orgs on campus to work on the CRC appointment. Yeah, that's what FSC has been doing.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Next we got SWC.
Carl, I believe SWC is written.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
No worries.
Next we got TSR.
Yeah. For this past week, I was finally able to meet one-on-one with Josh and clear some things in the air in regards to like my questions I had for my position. And first I want to thank him for that. It has helped me. It also, I've been able to reply to a lot of emails about different organizations or different organizations around campus asking to meet with me, whether on Zoom or in person, whether early summer or in the fall. So I could better represent them on the board or represent their interests. And so I look forward to meeting more students, get to know what the collective student body would like me to push for them on this board. And so, yeah, and then essentially just planning during the summer. That's pretty much what I have ahead.
Okay, bet. Let's get it. All right, next we got ISR.
Hi. So we had a very productive week this time. I got to meet with CalPERG and discuss how we can partner in the future. Last time I mentioned we were working on a list of like collating all the organizations that are relevant to this office, and we've kind of got through that list, and we'll be sending out emails over the summer. I also managed to secure a meeting with the director of the Dashu Center later in June, so that's going to be really great to see where we can partner with them. And with the hiring, I've been meeting a lot of different people who are willing to like volunteer with the office and finalizing who will eventually be working. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Next we got admin reps. Josh.
I have a few things. One, if you don't have access to your office, please go to ASU CLA this week. We want to make sure everyone has office access. Email. At this moment in time, you should all have access to your council emails and your council Google Docs. That is the only way that we are sending information to you. So we do not send information to your private emails or your your UCLA emails. It will only go to your council email. So please make sure that you have access to all of that. Appointments. I can't emphasize this enough. If you have not read your bylaws, and you do not know who you need to appoint, that is your number one task to do right after this meeting. Go to usac.ucla.edu. You can click on the bylaw link, and then you can literally do Control Find and type in your council title as well as appointments, and that will come directly up of exactly who you need to appoint. Please make sure that you're doing that. Fourthly, masks. Masks are now back on campus for indoor masking. If any of you need access to masks, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can also get masks throughout campus. I believe I will have Jessica or Patty state where they are in the union, but I know that at any student affairs office, the front desks on the Hill. We have masks available. If you need access to more masks, please let me know. The campus has a lot of masks and they are still free and we want to get them out. Lastly, the Volunteer Center does Day of Service with CSC. We do Volunteer Day, and we are seeking volunteer projects. So if you have any organization that you work with that may want to participate in this coming year's Volunteer Day, please let me know. Shoot me an email, or any student org, any volunteer org, any nonprofit that you would like to work with or you currently work with that needs additional support. Let us know. We are doing a regional day of service. We are doing our volunteer day with USC and the mayor's office. And we want as many student organizations to participate. This will happen during week 0. So feel free to jump in. And Patty just put where the free masks will be available in Ackerman in the chat. So just want to make sure that that information is out there. Again, if you have any questions about any of the information we went over today, don't hesitate to text or reach out. Thanks, Carl.
No problem. Thank you so much. Next, we got Orlando.
Hey, hello, everyone. I have a few updates myself. Just as a friendly reminder, right now is the time to be switching out your signatories. So update everyone that's graduating. Information does go out to all the signatories, so it's great to get the most up to date. I know this is way in advance, but we've already set our date for re-registration for the 22-23 academic year. Registration will open the day after Labor Day and close at 5 p.m. on Friday of the second week in fall quarter. Don't worry, this information will be posted again and I'll repeat it again over the summer, but I just thought I'd put it on your radar screen. A few others, let me just get to my notes. Campus Activities Committee Summer Fund is now open. This is the community service fund that for those groups that are still doing community service over the summer, you can apply for summer funding. The deadline to apply is Wednesday, June 15th at 4 p.m. And then finally, I'm sure you've gotten the information, but for those of you haven't, and for those that belong to other organizations, the new student session activities fair is back. The new student sessions features an evening over dinner. It's co-sponsored with ASUCLA and allows organizations to get exposure and new students to get a small sampling of what UCLA has to offer. That deadline is this Friday, June 3rd. I will post a newsletter in the chat with all the information I just went over, plus some others. So if you are interested, please just click on the link. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Orlando. Next, we got Jessica.
Hi, y'all. Just a couple things. So, like Hannah mentioned earlier, as you're going through and getting access to your offices, if you notice that there's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared out from the prior term, please make sure to label whatever you need recycled or disposed of. Take photos of it if that's really helpful. And then you can just email me directly or my students directly. I'll drop their email in the chat for you. But it really helps to have the photos and everything clearly labeled. This way we don't have, something mistakenly taken out that you didn't want removed, but definitely send us a request. Please do not put anything into the hallways, just because that creates an accessibility issue for folks trying to get to their office space. And a lot of the offices are very close together, so there's not a lot of hallway space anyway. So again, if there's anything you need removed, let us know. And then the other thing regarding office access. So if you were not able to attend our last training session that we had on Friday, May 20th, we circulated a signature page. So if you missed that training, you need to go to SGA, which is in Kirkhoff 332, to sign off on that signature page. That's what we use to verify your signature for your office access forms as you give access to your staff. We also use it for verifying your signature on requisition forms. So once you're in your terms budget, you'll be signing off on all of the funding that your office manages. So please make sure you go to SGA as soon as you can to get that signed if you haven't already. And then if you have any questions or concerns about accessing your office or getting the access on your Bruin card, just let me know and we can help you out. The students at the A-level info window can also help if you have any questions, if you just want to drop by. But I just wanted to put that out there just in case if as you're accessing your space, you notice something's off or something's missing, or, you know, the space is just very messy. We want to help you through that so you can, you know, start your terms off right. And we know you got a lot of work to get done. So we'll try to get in there as quickly as possible and get it resolved for you, but definitely just let us know what we can do.
Thank you so much. Next we got Patty.
Hi, everyone. Just want to say I wish you all the luck going into your next busy weeks coming up. And then also, as we're kind of planning into summer, I just wanted to remind everyone that as your advisors, we're happy to meet with you all about any of your initiatives or platforms that you're interested in putting forth this coming school year. It's always great to hit the ground running in the summertime and prepare for projects in fall. So please feel free to reach out to all of us. We're happy to set up those meetings. They can be via Zoom or whatever is convenient or in person. So I just wanted to put that out there and have a good night.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we have, George.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great and restful long weekend. No big updates this time around, but we do have our Alumni Association board meeting this coming Saturday. And I think I misspoke last week when I said there was a new Alumni Association alumni rep for you all. It's just the way things have been communicated to me. But I think they're going to vote for this person this coming Saturday. But I'll keep you all posted about an incoming alumni rep. So I apologize if I jumped the gun there a bit.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now we're getting into old business, which is discussion on summer meetings. So I was able to plan it out. And basically, we passed that quorum would be 8 for the summer, right? And so obviously we're not meeting next week because of finals, right? And so I was thinking that we do like a 3-week break. We have our first meeting June 28th, right? And then we would have a total of 6 meetings over the summer until September 19th, right? Which is September 19th is when the quarter starts. And our first official meeting for that fall will be September 20th. So over the summer, we've had a total of 6 meetings, which is a meeting every 2 weeks. So meeting on June 28th, meeting July 12th, meeting July 26th, meeting August 9th, meeting August 23rd, and then last summer meeting would be meeting September 6th. And all of these would just continue to be at 7 p.m. just in case students wanted to come and pay attention to what we're doing over the summer, something like that. So that's what, I kind of figured out is, does anyone have a problem with that or any questions or concerns or any points y'all want to add to this? Going once, going
That
twice.
sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, one.
I have a question.
Go for it, Juan.
You can go ahead. Sorry.
Right, it's just quick. Yeah, it's perfect for me. I just can't make the first one, but I can make all of them other than the 28th.
Okay, awesome. If you can't make meetings, like I say, just remember, that's why we lowered quorum so that less people can come to, so we can still vote on things. It just just give someone a heads up and send a proxy so they can update on us on what you're doing and stuff. One.
Is it okay? So I think a little confused about summer funding. The deadline is June 15th, or maybe I got the name of the funding allocation. But do we have to vote on that? Would that mean that it can we can hold off until the June 28th meeting, or would we have to do a meeting before to approve of that funding? I remember hearing a deadline of a June 15th, the deadline.
Yes, that was what George.
No,
George,
I had said it. That's the Community Activities Commission Fund. No, that was not a council thing. That's just, I was announcing it for student organizations who still wanted to continue doing community service. They can apply to the fund. This is separate than council. This is through the Program Activities Board.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Okay, awesome. All right, so that seems like that's going to be our schedule for this summer. If you have,
Excuse me. Do you mind if I ask Orlando a question?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Orlando. The funding opportunity that you're speaking of, is that part of the link that you had sent with basically as part of the spring finals newsletter? Like it's the 7th PDF where it says the CAC summer fund.
Yeah, the CA Summer Fund
Open.
in there, and I believe there's a link that you can apply to it directly. Let me just double check that.
Okay. Yeah, due June 16th. All right, perfect.
Yeah, no, there is a link there. So if you want to apply to it directly, you can just follow the link.
Thank you, Orlando.
No problem.
Anzika?
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that I think I'm the only one who's going to be in a different time zone through the summer. So like 7 in the evening is probably going to be 7:30 a.m. for me, which is good. So I should be able to attend most meetings because I don't think anyone has a commitment at that time. But I just want to put it out there that there may come a day where I'm not able to. So I'll inform beforehand, but that's just my scheduling.
Okay, thank you so much, Hanska. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to send proxies and if you don't want to wake up super early because that's 7:30, just let us know, and we'll make it happen. Okay.
Carl, I just want to jump in. I just want to make sure before we move on from this topic, it is going to be very, very important that we get 8 people to show up at these meetings. The reason I say that is with 6 meetings over the summer, which is totally okay, we have a lot of appointments that we're going to have to get in. And with those appointments, we need to ensure that there are 8 voting members or they will not be able to vote, and it really then backs up the number of people. So if you are already aware that you are not going to be able to make these times, and we hear speak up now, because if we're like, oh wow, everyone's not going to be able to make this time, that's really good to know now so we can arrange a different date. But I since Carl has called it out twice, I'm only hearing potentially one conflict with an international, which is totally acceptable. And thank you for getting up at 7 a.m. That's crazy. And then Teddy has one situation where they might not be able to attend. Is there anyone else before we move on? And then we can truly move on. Awesome. Okay, Carl, thank you. I just want to make sure we can actively do business, because I think there was one time last year where we didn't have enough voting members. We had to message people and saying, you got to log on. So I don't want that to happen this summer as well. So thank you, Carl. Okay, no problem. All right. And then if something changes, like when we have our first meeting, we'll probably just, because I don't, how many, I'm sorry, not to prolong this discussion, but Josh, how many meetings did we have last year? I don't even remember. I think, did we have 6 or is that a lot for you? We did every other week. So exactly the same schedule that you're presenting. Okay, awesome. It's the exact same schedule. Okay, nice. All right, so well, there we go. And then we'll, I guess admin will schedule that and then we'll have those on the calendar as well. All right, so next up for new business, we have Clara and Milan. They're going to present the resolution. So without further ado, Clara, Milan.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just here to kind of bring Clara in to read her resolution and answer questions because I think Calberg is the best person to kind of answer questions on this. But I could definitely share my screen, or Clara, if you want to share your screen to show the resolution.
Cool. Yes, I can do that. That makes sense.
All right. Yay. Hopefully everyone can see this. Just for clarity, am I supposed to read the resolution? Or like, how does this go?
I think usually we read the resolution unless like we want to just go. I don't know, Carl, what we want to do or the specific procedures for that is.
But yeah, I mean, whatever y'all, if y'all want to read, the entire thing, you can. If you want to just like kind of go through the gist of, you can. It's whatever you want to do.
All right. I think that a lot of people have already read this pretty thoroughly. So I will just go over like a summary of basically what it says. And of course, I can definitely take questions and answer more detailed things about the language as well if that's necessary. But this is a resolution to endorse limiting single-use plastics in Los Angeles. It's sponsored by Eliana, co-sponsored by Alicia, Anna, Daniela, Divine, Fonseca, Milan, Naomi, and Phoebe. And basically what this resolution is a couple months ago, we had passed previously with USAC a resolution endorsing an ordinance for LA County Board of Supervisors, which limited single-use plastics in the county by banning single-use plastic foodware and also polystyrene. And what this resolution does is it's a extremely similar endorsement for LA City Council to do the exact same thing to expand that policy to City Council as well. In the language, we sort of go over the issues of plastic pollution, what UCLA has done to lead on this issue, and the impact of LA City adopting this as well. So does anyone have any questions about any of this?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the hard work on this, and you and Calpre, y'all been doing a great job all year. Like, thank you so much for I've learned a lot from just a lot of stuff that y'all been doing and pushing out to students. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, if we don't have any questions, I know a lot of people are in the chat right now saying congrats, well, great job, and are very thankful of this resolution. So that's great. But if we don't have any questions, can we get a motion?
I motion to vote on the resolution limiting the use of single-use plastics.
I second.
Sarah motions, Alicia seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, all against, please raise your hand. Sarah, I was about to say. All right, all abstaining, please raise your hand. Okay, so yeah, by a vote of 13-0, the resolution passes. Thank you so much for all the hard work on that. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, I think that is it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay, I will be ending this meeting at 8.